Hello, and welcome to our webinar today on our middle school curriculum. We're super excited to have you here. All right, welcome to today's webinar on our new middle school curriculum. We're super excited to have you here and to share some of the exciting content that we'll be sharing with you later this summer. So let's go ahead and get started. So our agenda for today is I'm going to talk a little bit about our approach to middle school curriculum. I'll give an overview of all of the content that we're releasing and super excited about, and then I'll share some resources, and then we'll do a Q&A at the end. So let's go ahead and get started. So as we were developing these new middle school curriculum and content, we wanted to think about a couple of things that middle school content needs to be. And so first of all, it needs to be highly engaging and relatable to students from all backgrounds. So we want to make sure that all students are really interested by computer science. Sometimes this might be the first time they're seeing computer science topics. And so we want to make sure that the curriculum that we put in front of them, it shows them how awesome computer science can be and encourages them to take computer science at the high school level and potentially beyond. It also needs to allow for multiple entry points and accommodate for a wide range of student levels. So students may have taken computer science in elementary. They may be experts by the time they come to middle school. On the flip side, students might be seeing programming for the very first time. And so we want to make sure that no matter what level students are at, there's an entry point for them and they're able to have fun and it's still challenging at the right level. We also want to make sure that middle school curriculum supports the transition from elementary to middle school coding environments. So for students who have been coding at the elementary level, a lot of students are probably programming and block coding in environments like Scratch. We want to make sure that the transition to text-based coding is smooth and easy, or as easy as it can be, right? So text-based coding is very different in a lot of ways. And so we provide a lot of support to help students understand why syntax is the way that it is and things along those lines. And last but not least, we also want to prepare for high school. So we want students to have a really strong foundation of computer science concepts before they move into high school and access that higher level computer science content. So with all of these things in mind, we took a modular approach to our middle school curriculum. And this also is the reason for this is also to meet the unique needs of each middle school. So a lot of middle schools teach computer science in a lot of different ways. So you might be teaching it for one quarter where you see students every day. You might see your students every single day for a year. Some schools just teach it at one grade level. Some schools teach it at 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So a lot of different ways that schools implement computer science at the middle school level. And we wanted to make sure that our curriculum could be modified and customized to fit the needs of your individual schools, as well as meet the needs of your individual students. So we came up with a set of modules. Each module focuses on a specific topic in computer science, is 10 hours or so of content, is introductory, so has no necessary prior knowledge, and can be taught as a standalone module. So you can teach them in any order and in any way that you would like. The modules are aligned to both state and CSTA standards. And we are releasing 10 new modules. So we have some previous middle school content that will still be available to you, and we're really excited for you to continue to have access to that. But today I'm really going to focus on these 10 new modules that we have created. Some of these modules were specifically designed for lower middle school. Some were specifically designed for upper middle school, and then some were just designed for any middle school grade, no matter where you're at. So without further ado, let's take a look at these modules. So let's first start with the lower middle school modules. And so we have 3 modules that were designed specifically for 5th and 6th grade. And these are Carol Adventures 1 and 2 and Tracy Adventures. And so the unique thing about these modules, they're all programming modules, is that they are story driven. So students are learning programming concepts within the context of a story, and then they apply what they're learning in exercises that are aligned to the content of the story. And so students watch videos along the way to kind of continue along what's going on in the story and then complete coding exercises. So I'm going to share an example of a video that is an introduction to one of the stories in Carol Adventures 2 called Lost in Space. So this is the first video that students will watch that introduces them to the story.
Hello, and welcome to Carol Adventures, Lost in Space. A call
I'll
from
speed it up a
space.
little bit since we're not middle school
Carol
students.
was about to tuck into bed after a long day of playing fetch, when suddenly... Hello, and welcome to Carol Adventures, Lost in Space. A call from space. Carol was about to tuck into bed after a long day of playing fetch, when suddenly the radio started to cackle. Carol! Carol, do you read me? Carol leaped out of the bed and spoke into the radio. I copy, Tracy. Where are you calling from? There's a lot of noise. There. On Mars. There's a lot. Out. Tracy? Tracy, do you copy? A few days ago, Tracy had taken off in a rocket to travel through space, but it sounds like Tracy may have run into trouble. Carol quickly packed a bag and went outside to find a very unfinished spaceship. I need to finish the spaceship fast so I can help Tracy. Use these paint commands to help Carol finish this spaceship and get to Tracy.
So that's one of the first videos that students will watch. And then let's take a look at an exercise that is in the same adventure. It's not the immediately following exercise, but it's kind of towards the end, but you can see what type of programming concepts students will learn. And so this is called the Martian sandworms exercise. And in this exercise, Carol is trying to get to Tracy, who's this purple square over here. And as Carol goes to Tracy, she has to kind of squash these Martian sandworms with purple goo. And the twist in the story is that the Martian sandworms actually end up being good. So they're actually friendly, but we learn that later on. But here, when I run this program, you can see that we're using JavaScript to give Carol commands. And students are using while loops, they're using an if conditional, and so doing a lot of really complex, simple but complex programming in the Carol Adventures 1. And then I'll show an example of Carol Adventures 2. So Carol Adventures 2 is one of them is set in Egypt and has to do with the Rosetta Stone. And so here students are doing similar things. So we have some while loops, but we also have a nested if statement here. So we can see how these kind of lessons are building on each other within the story context to introduce new programming concepts and give students a lot of practice while in a fun kind of environment. And then Tracy Adventures is very similar. And Tracy Adventures is where we're giving commands to a turtle, Tracy the turtle. And this is in a under the sea adventure. And so what students are working on here is that they are using a function, so getting into function definition, so a little bit more advanced than Carol, and then calling that function here. So when I run this, you'll see that students are helping tell Tracy to draw an octopus, which ends up being really cute. And students can change the color of the octopus depending on whatever color they're interested in. And so a lot of fun activities there. Okay, so those are the modules that are for our early middle school. Let's see. And let's take a look at our upper middle school modules. So these are designed specifically for 7th and 8th graders. So we have Exploring Code with Carol, which is similar to Carol Adventures, but not in a story context. It's a little bit more problem-solving focused. Then we have Exploring Game Design, where students are getting kind of the basics of game design, learning about sprites, world design, and game like programming. And this is in P5 Play. And then Exploring Art with Code is in P5JS. And students think about how to the intersection of coding and programming and art in a lot of really fun ways. So let's look at a couple of examples there to see what that looks like. So this is the Carol adventure, or not the programming Exploring Code with Carol. And so you can see that it's really similar. We're still working with Carol. However, it's not in a story, and we're doing a little bit more complex things, right? We have multiple functions. I'll go ahead and run it so we can see. We have multiple functions going on here. We also have nested if statements here. So a lot of continuing that process of building programming concepts while giving commands to Carol the dog. And then I love this, this exercise right here. So here students are kind of creating an image that looks just like a painting by Pablo Picasso. This is in our Exploring Art with Code. And what students are doing is they're just adding the fill command here, but we can see when you run it, they create this really beautiful artwork with programming, which is really neat and a really great way to kind of showcase how computer science can be used outside of typical, engineering fields. And then one more here from P5 or from Exploring Art with Code, that's in P5JS. And here we can see that we're playing around with scaling and animation of shapes, and students can use different colors and different shapes here, which is a lot of fun. And then last but not least, I'll go over the modules that are designed for all middle school students. So we have Exploring Digital Citizenship, which is what you think it is about internet etiquette and how to stay safe on the web. Exploring Computing, which gets into like what is a computer, how have computers impacted society. Exploring the Internet gets into network protocols and different strategies you can use to stay safe online. And then exploring web design is all about what is a website, and students also learn HTML and CSS to actually build their own websites, which is really cool. So really quickly, I'll show just 2 more example activities from these. So this is from Exploring Computing, where students are thinking about cloud computing versus physical computing. And we have a drag and drop activity here where students can kind of sort and then check their work based on where they sorted things. And then, well, I did really poorly, but I would be able to try again. And then also, let's look at the network simulation here. This one's a lot of fun. So here, what we can do is we can simulate a network where we're connecting different devices and just thinking through what are the protocols that we're seeing. So we're ready to send, we can send to one device. And so students start really thinking about the different protocols that are used to send information over the internet. We are packaging these modules in a couple of different ways. So those are the modules. They're great. We're really excited to share them with you. And you might be wondering, well, how do I access them? So there are 2 ways that we are sharing these modules with teachers. One is through a mix and match course. So this course is going to contain every single one of our modules. So it'll have all 10 of them. And teachers can choose those modules, whichever ones they want to teach, and then reorder them really easily. So that's going to be the mix and match course. If you're like, I don't want to have to do any customization, we have some pre-built courses for you. And that's going to be Computer Science Explorations 1 and Computer Science Explorations 2. And so these are designed specifically for kind of lower middle school over here and then upper middle school over here. So they are supposed to build. Computer Science Explorations 1 is not necessarily a prerequisite for Computer Science Explorations 2, but students who have taken some of the Carol Adventures and Tracy Adventures will be better equipped to do some of the programming modules in Computer Science Explorations 2. Both of these courses have 5 modules each, so they have a total of about 50 hours of content. However, if you only wanted to teach one of them, you could easily remove whatever modules you don't want to teach and teach that specific module. So accessing these courses and information, we have a lot of really great information out there for you. So first of all, the mix and match course guide is going to have, if you go to this overview page, actually I'll pull it up right here. So I can just share it with you. So this is going to have everything that you need to know. So of course, in the overview, it has a summary. If you're interested, you can click here. These courses will be available in mid-July, so you're not quite able to access all of the material yet, but you will be really soon. We're working hard on wrapping everything up. But you can view a syllabus or the guide, and then you can also see all of the modules that are in this specific course. And similarly, we have, I'll share this slide here, an overview page for CS Explorations 1 and CS Explorations 2. And so if you just go to these 2 links, codehs.com/course/CS Explorations 1 or 2 overview, you'll see the exact same page. I'll share this one here, where it has an introduction as well as the different the modules that are part of that course in a specific direction or a description for each of those modules. So as I mentioned before, these are not quite ready for you to take a look at, but you will be able to look at them very soon in mid-July. So if you want to go ahead and continue to receive updates on these courses, you can click on this I'm interested button on the overview pages, and you'll be added to an email list and be able to receive updates. I do want to say we're really excited about all this new content. However, we do have some really great existing middle school content that you are more than welcome to continue using. So the Introduction to Physical Computing with Microbit is an awesome course that's really great. Creating a game with Roblox, we have coding and science and coding and math. So make sure to continue to check out our current existing middle school content so that you can kind of mix and match all of those 2 as well. So our middle school content will still be available. This is just some new stuff that we're really excited to add to it. And Portia just added those links for you in case you missed them. Those are links to kind of overviews of the different courses that you can kind of take a look at the different content that's in them. Yes, and if you want to take a look at the recording, you're more than welcome to do that. We'll be sharing that with you as well. Yeah, Michael, so in terms of a 9-week or semester course, that's kind of up to you. So all of our modules are 10 hours of content. So you're welcome to choose kind of mix and match whichever that is. So it depends on if you're seeing your students every day for 9 weeks or every day for a semester. I think the way that I would approach our middle school content is more how many hours you need. So how many hours of content do you need? How many hours will you be seeing your students? And from there, you can choose kind of which modules you want to do, maybe based on the standards or whatever modules you're interested in. We have programming modules, digital citizenship, so some like other CS topics as well. So a lot of different options. It would be more based on kind of what you specifically need and what modules you're interested in. Yes, you can mix and match them. So the mix and match course, which I'll go back to the overview here. The mix and match course does have all 10 modules, and you can kind of mix and match them as you choose really easily on our platform. Great. Yeah. So if your students are coming with some experience, you're welcome to do basically any of our programming modules. So that could be any of our Carol adventures or Tracy adventures, or your students could potentially be ready for some of the upper level middle school courses or middle school modules, which would be any of these three could be a really great option for your students, depending on if you're wanting to get into game design, or maybe you want to get into the art piece or get into all of them. If they're doing more of the block coding, then I would probably suggest some of our early middle school ones to transition to block, or to help students transition to the text-based coding. There aren't lessons that specifically like our lessons do talk about transitioning from block to text. I think the main way that we support text-based transition is giving students a lot of practice with the syntax. And so giving them a lot of opportunities to think about why the syntax is the way that it is, exploring the different commands. So making sure for JavaScript, like why is there a semicolon, thinking about the parentheses, and just giving them a lot of practice that way. There is a little bit of comparison to the Scratch blocks because that's what a lot of our elementary curriculum uses. However, there's not a strong focus on that. It's more just really helping students think about why the text-based coding is the way that it is. We also do, Carol Adventures does have block coding available. So students can easily flip between blocks and text. So that's something that could be useful in terms of the question that you just asked about lessons linking old block coding to written code. There's always going to be that one student who's a step ahead of you. I do think that is, a common challenge in computer science. I mean, I would recommend you, whatever module you end up doing, I would just work through it yourself and make sure that you feel really good about all of the concepts there. I wouldn't say that there's a specific program for you to do, but I would, whenever you choose what module you want to do, just make sure you're doing it ahead of time so that you're able to kind of support students. And for that student who goes ahead and is above and beyond, you can, tell them great job. We also try and give some differentiation pieces, so provide some guidance and lesson plans to give students some, if you need to assign a student maybe an extra project or things like that, we try and give some guidance around those differentiation pieces. We currently don't have a pretest that you can give students to decide kind of where to go. I think that's as of right now, that's just going to have to be a teacher decision. Well, we provide some guidance around what modules are good for what levels. However, there's not a test that we have available right now, but I can add that as a potential future thing to do. But currently, we do not have that. I mean, the kid in Unity is impressive. You can become a Unity game developer. Yeah, that is just it's great that students are exploring different coding environments, and I think that is just going to be what it is, and kind of celebrate those students. And one of the cool things about this is that if you can assign modules. So if you're teaching Carol Adventures 1 and you have a student who's really far ahead, you can actually assign them material from the Exploring Game Design. So you have a lot of different opportunities or a lot of different content to pull from if you need to kind of assign some more advanced content. And you could also pull from our high school content too as a great way to differentiate for students who need, some more challenging work. And no matter what level you're at, all of the curriculum is available to you. So you're able to access all of the content. Some things that won't be available are the lesson plans. That's kind of the biggest thing that kind of stands out in some of the handouts. But you should be able to access all of the middle school content, no matter if you're free or pro. Oh, nice. And Portia just threw in the chat all of our current available middle school content. So that also has all of the different content there which has there's a Roblox module in there that you might be interested in if some of your students are using the Make Code Arcade or even Unity. So some really good resources and content out there already that you can go ahead and take a look at until these modules are released in mid-July. Yeah, thanks for all of those great questions, Michael. All right, and so that is a super quick overview of our new middle school content that we're really excited to share. And if you have any questions, feel free to throw those in the chat or Q&A. If there aren't any questions, you're more than welcome to hop off. That is the information that I have for you. I'm happy to stay on for a couple more minutes for anyone who does have questions. Otherwise, thanks for joining, and I really hope you have a great rest of your day and good luck with the rest of the school year.